Views from Section 400. In this one, college basketball is back. College football rankings are out. We have a lot of stuff to go over there. Winners and losers heat up the show right into the confidence picks for the full NFL slate. We always wrap it up with the mic of the week. It's an action-packed episode. As always, coming to you next.
A16, turn me up.
And just like that, we're back. Views from Section 400. Matt, Jack, and Brian bringing you along for the action-packed episode. I can't wait to get into this one because college basketball is here. It's back. It's November. Brian, I know you're fired up.
Auburn basketball is back tonight. I guess yesterday when you're watching this.
I am ready for this, bro. War Eagle.
War damn Eagle. We got the Vermont Catamounts on the docket for tonight. I think, Matt, you were saying it's a 16-point spread, so we should be okay, at least for the first game in Neville Arena. But, Jack, we kind of talked about this before the show. I'm a little worried about this non-conference schedule.
As far as the box scores, game in and game out, Brian, it might look a little scary, but I think this is going to be a good thing for our team. We need to be playing these tough out-of-conference opponents. We got to get ourselves ready for the end of the season when tournament play starts. We've won the SEC. We won the SEC tournament. We got to go win the big dance.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, how can anybody, Brian opened it up, and then obviously Jack jumped in, so I didn't want to interrupt the Auburn butt buddy fiasco there. But, Brian, how can anybody, Auburn fan, especially basketball, I know football is a complete different story, but how can anybody sit there and look at a 16.5-point spread and say, yeah, we should be fine. It's Auburn basketball. We'll be all right. I think you got to be a little bit nervous and concerned for this game tonight. The Catamouts are going to come out red hot, fired up. You saw what happened last year at Appalachian State. I think this is remnants of that last year.
Well, the difference is that was at App State. Auburn doesn't lose in Neville Arena, especially in the non-conference. There's something about that arena being so small and the kids waiting like 5 hours to get into the game.
Longer.
Yeah, longer. Well, maybe not. Well, it's the opener, so you're probably right. But yeah, something about playing at home, that's a little different. Then you got to play Houston and Birmingham, which I guess is home, but not really. That's what I'm really worried about.
Look,
all right, fair enough.
Houston's a good team, man, and they proved it last year. I know they didn't make the deep run of the tournament like a lot of people expected, but they were a very good team last year, and they're going to be a really good team again this year. What are they preseason ranked? 4?
They were second in the Big 12 poll, and I took them to win the Big 12. I think you did too, Jack?
Actually, I don't think I did.
Matt, I know you were on Kansas, I think.
I think I'm on Kansas as well.
For the Big 12, yeah, I took Kansas. Kansas is loaded this year, absolutely loaded. They have basically the same team as last year and just added unbelievable weapons. They're fraud-esque as well. Houston's very fraud-heavy. So, the Big 12 is loaded. We'll see if they, in fact, get it done.
Yeah, well, you also have former Big 12 fraud Texas joining the SEC this year. And I think Auburn plays them to open up the SEC schedule. So it's after a a good non-conference schedule, you get a really tough game to start the conference.
Are we going to see Auburn have 12 losses this year and make the tournament?
I don't know if we'll have double-digit losses. I think we keep it under double digits.
Dude, there's a lot.
They're going to have double-digit losses. They'll lose 7 games in the conference, and they'll lose 4 or 5 out of conference. So, yeah, Matt,
I think you guys are underestimating how deep this Auburn team is and how elite their front court is going to be with 4th and 5th year seniors, Janai Broome and Dylan Cardwell. Brian, I know I'm not telling you shit. You know all of this, but have some dang faith.
They could finish ranked 10th in the AP poll with 12 losses. It's not the end of the world, especially if those 12 losses are against number 3 Houston, number 1 Duke, number 10 Purdue. Like it's we saw with Bama last year. They struggled in the non-conference and then they got hot in the tournament and made it to the Final Four. Maybe that happens for Auburn, but they're going to have to get past Cooper Flag and Con Nipple and Duke and Cameron Indoor for the ACC SEC challenge, which I am also worried about.
When does that start?
That is mid-December. So they get back from the Maui Invitational and then play Duke and Cameron Indoor.
Wow. Who decided this schedule for the Auburn Tigers? I mean, that is not something I'd be looking forward to at all,
Yeah,
especially after the way last year ended.
it's going to be tough. They might play UConn in the Maui Invitational too. UConn, of course, going for the three-peat. And they add Aiden Mahaney from St. Mary's, dropped 24 on Gonzaga in that conference championship last year. So UConn may be the team to beat again. But speaking of Mahaney and transfers, I think we run it back here. We did it last year, and Matt, I believe you won our little "Where does he play now?" transfer portal edition for college basketball.
I might have, but looking back on this game is so difficult, dude. There's so many different guys who move. The transfer portal is the wild, wild west at this point, where everybody and anybody is going here, there, and over there. Like sure, I guess I won, but I'm not. I mean, I'm not going to brag about it. It's anybody can get lucky. That's what I'll list that as. And I'm usually all about bragging.
I gotta tell you right now, I am not. This is not my cup of tea when it comes to the transfer portal for college basketball. It's honestly one of the last things I'm going to have expertise on. But I'm excited. I do know a couple of the transfers. I just hope that you pick the ones I actually know.
Well, maybe I did. I think we're all winners in this game because now we're going to know where everyone's playing at. And I think that's important. So we're not surprised come February or January. But first up, we have Mr. Janelle Davis, who you both loved at FAU. He is no longer at FAU now that Dusty May is at Michigan. Janelle Davis did not follow into Michigan. Where did he go?
I know this one. He went to Arkansas. Same with Calipari. I mean, I don't blame him. Following the big coach to the SEC could be a good move for him. Yeah, that's me and Matt's boy from FAU. So that's one of the ones I'm actually going to get in this game.
I'm proud of you. That is correct. And Arkansas may be pretty good under Calipari. We don't know if they'll do well in the tournament because of his struggles there, but they may make it there. Next up, we have, I guess this is for you, Matt. Omar Ballo was one of the most dominant big men in the Pac-12 last year with Arizona. With the Pac-12 disappearing, he transferred. Where did he go?
Yeah, this one, no clue. We give a Jack a layup answer, and I forget last year. Didn't we get like a hint on the conference, or was that not a thing?
I'll give you a hint. This team is near and dear to the heart of somebody you work with.
So, Indiana?
Yeah, I was trying to make that more ominous, but as soon
That was so obvious.
I mean, no, I knew the answer right away. I just did it. I thought it was almost a trick question because of how much. Hey, look, Jack, you got the layup on number one.
Hey, no,
I'll take that as a layup. I'll take that as a layup. Let's roll on.
Yeah, halfway through the question, I realized I didn't really have a good way to phrase
I
it.
probably was going to guess like Baylor or Oregon, to be honest with you, is where my head was thinking.
Yeah, well, Jack, I'll keep it in your home state for question number 3 here. Kadari Richmond led Seton Hall to an NIT title last season. Where does he play basketball now?
Rutgers.
It's pretty damn close, but no. Matt, you can steal it.
You said he was at Seton Hall?
Yep.
Jack guessed Rutgers and it was a no?
But it was close.
I know. I got to turn on my I'm not in college basketball mode, dude. I gotta.
That's what
I'm like trying. I don't even have like a second guess. That was.
He went to Seton Hall. You said.
Went to Seton Hall. Jack guessed Rutgers. That was no, but it's pretty close. You're warm with that guess.
UConn.
Even closer, but no. St. John's.
Ah, fudge.
followed Rick Pitino there. So we're tied 1-1 through 3 questions here. Matt, I think it's your turn now.
Hit me
Or
with it.
Chad?
Hit me with some ridiculous question that I have no idea.
So friend of the program, AY, who will be back for Volmas this year, his best player was probably Norchad Omir at Miami. He is no longer there. Where did he go?
Yeah, dude, this I don't think is a fun game at all. I will take a stab and go with Houston.
Again, very close. Jack, you can steal.
Close to Houston.
Which could mean fucking like Arizona for all we know.
Yeah, knowing Brian. Can I have Baylor?
There you go.
Yeah, laid that one up for you.
I mean, I was between them and Texas Tech. I'm trying to think of other good Texas basketball schools.
All right. Well, we have a twofer in this question. So, Jack, I'll give you the first guy name, and Matt, you can guess the second guy. But Tucker DeVries led Drake over Robbie Avila's Indiana State last season in the Missouri Valley Championship. Both players have new homes this year. So, Jack, can you give me Tucker DeVries?
No, I cannot. I think I can give you Robbie Avila.
I could definitely give you Robbie Avila. I can't do the other one.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I can give you either of them. Where was he last year? With Indiana State?
Robbie was Indiana State. Tucker was Drake.
Fuck, I totally just saw this the other day. I gotta give Matt the floor on both of these guys. I don't know either of them.
So Avila went to St. Louis.
Yep.
And DeVry went to Creighton.
Well, no, not that close, but West Virginia for DeVry. And
That's not too far off.
yeah, not too far off. But Robbie and Isaiah Swope followed their head coach from Indiana State to St. Louis, and that is why they are my sleeper team this season for college basketball. I guess I'll go back to Jack here for I think Matt won, but Jack, this will be for pride. Last one. Jeremy Roach was a mainstay at Duke in the 2020s, but he is now a graduate transfer somewhere else. Where did he go?
Dude, I didn't think he was still in the
What was the guy's name?
Jeremy
Roach.
Roach.
The dude
Jeremy
Roach.
Roach?
He was a baller. I didn't know he was still in the league. Give me a hint, Bri. Help a brother out.
We've said this school.
We've said 30 fucking schools, Brian.
Big 12.
Oh, I wish that helped.
Green.
Green. Talking Michigan State?
Big 12.
Dude, are you special?
I am.
They won a title in this decade.
Is it Baylor again?
Yes.
I was gonna say he's like giving you a layup on one that you guessed the correct answer.
I already guessed a Baylor guy. I didn't think you were going back to the well.
Yeah,
that's Brian's specialty, dude. Come on,
wanted
you
to
know the
point
guy
out
by
here.
now.
Wanted to point
I
out
thought-
here that Baylor might have a squad, and we may be underestimating Baylor this year.
I thought we were going to
They
get
lost
more
by
SEC
40 to
players, not gonna
Gonzaga.
lie.
They did lose by 40 to Gonzaga.
I hate the hype every year on Baylor, and every year they're frauds. I get it. They won the one with Davion Mitchell, who needs to get a shot in the NBA.
War Eagle.
But
I don't think
he's a
that's a
War
word.
I don't think that's a War Eagle either. But
Why not? He was there for a little while.
Davion?
Yeah.
he was a Baylor guy, I thought.
Yeah, but he was at Auburn first.
I did not know that.
I don't think I knew that either.
Does Jack know that?
You're going to have to fact check me on this, but I am 95% sure that Davion Mitchell went to Auburn his freshman year. I had an English class with him, with Gutman, and then he transferred to Baylor and became a superstar.
For some reason, that kind of sounds familiar too. I'm looking it up right now.
If it's true, that's a great pull by you, Jack.
And the only reason I know that is because I had a class with him.
Yeah, you are correct. War Eagle.
War Eagle.
Yep, Brian slipping on the War Eagles. Fake fan, per usual.
Yeah, he was not very good. He played 17 minutes a game, shot 28% from
That's
three,
a
and had
lot in college.
yeah, but he only had 3.7 points in those 17 minutes a game.
Yeah, I mean, he was a defensive guy for sure. I remember. I mean, he even was at Baylor, right?
Yeah, but he added a 3-point shot and slashing ability. But I guess that's college basketball, unless you guys have anything else.
No, I just, I have to touch on my team again. No, I didn't go to the school, but a lot of family members went there. The Villanova Wildcats have been in action, 1-0 to start the year. Down one to Columbia right now on the brink of halftime. So it's going to be a long year for the Wildcats. I'll be advocating all year to see a coaching change, and the Holy War's next Tuesday against St. Joe's. So, 1-0 right now, tied just 31-31 now. So that was just pretty on brand, though, that they were down one as I introduced the Wildcats. But, yeah, Kyle Neptune, we'll see if that guy can figure it out. It's going to be a long year for the Wildcats. They got nobody, man.
Yeah, I think it's a successful season for Kyle Neptune and the Wildcats if they manage to not lose to another Philadelphia team like they did last year.
Well, they'll have their first test next week. Well, they beat Lafayette. I guess Lafayette's not really a Philly team. It's Central PA. But the Holy War, I think, is next Tuesday against St. Joe's. So we will see how they fare. They lost by, I think, almost 20 points last year in that game. And I think the Nova team was better last year. So not feeling confident going into that one. But that's all I got on college basketball. If you saw our predictions, we threw them out there on the socials. I am super confident again. Still all over McNeese. That didn't go anywhere. I know I got killed last year. Lost the first game outright as a 6-point favorite. It's fine. 35-plus game season. All over McNeese. They got a better team this year. Look, if you want to fade them in March Madness, fade them in March Madness. They will be cover gods in the Southland Conference. Hope that doesn't blow up in my face like it did last year. I don't shy away from the music. Other team, though, that I really like this year is Arkansas Little Rock. They have so many pieces over there that I think are going to be unbelievable, like guys who transferred in. I can't think of names off the top of my head. I was going through the roster the other day, but they will be a sleeper team, maybe even crack into the top 25 at some point this year. So look out for Arkansas Little Rock to make some noise come March. But that's all I got for a quick minute on college basketball.
Yeah, I like Little Rock too. That conference is going to be sneaky good. Southern Illinois had a great first game in that field of 68 tournament that
Yeah.
I think McNeese lost into.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
Uh,
McNeese lost to South Dakota State, which is usually a pretty solid basketball program. So
yeah,
it's not like they lost to Houston Baptist.
yeah, also basically a home game for them, so it's not the
Right.
end of the world.
Yeah, I'm not pressing panic there just yet, but yeah, college basketball's back. Bracketology, Brian and I will dial up. I think after the new year, we'll let that go. Joe Lenardi's already got his bracketology out, but that guy was faded last year, so pump the brakes, Lenardi.
Yeah, no, we definitely did a better job than Lenardi. So yeah, once January hits, if you need a place to look at for March Madness predictions and a way to kind of win your bracket pool, definitely views from section400.com. But we did have college football rankings come out on Tuesday. I know there were a lot of other things going on, but I figured we'd react to those here. But before we do, the college football recap is presented by Bolmus. The 12 Days of Bolmus is back in 2024 with 12 episodes in 12 days featuring familiar guests and some new ones. It all starts on Monday, December 16th.
So obviously the college football rankings dropped in the midst of all the election hype. So a little bit forgotten there, but we're still going to react to it. The top 12 did come out. We'll go over if we think a couple surprises were snuck in there, a couple snubs were stuck in there. Can't speak. That's a tongue twister. But yeah, I don't think there's any doubt, no questions. The only undefeated team other than Miami that probably deserves the number one spot, Oregon, comes in as the number one team in the land. I don't think we have any disagreements there. But where we come at number two, Ohio State, who just knocked off Penn State. Georgia at number three. in the AP poll, that's flipped, and I think that's how it should be in the rankings. Guys, do you agree, or do you think Ohio State deserves number two?
Yeah, I mean, it's all with a grain of salt because it's gonna be Oregon most likely that gets that bye. So even though they are two, it'll be Georgia as the two for the bye, assuming they win the SEC. But yeah, I think Georgia is the better football team, definitely. Georgia might be the best team in the country, and I know Oregon is undefeated and won, but Georgia's very good.
Yeah, they definitely are. Obviously, Brian's team and quarterback Miami with Cam Ward coming in there at the four spot. Yeah, they just keep going. I don't know when they're going to get knocked off, but yeah, it's been interesting to see them keep trucking along and finding ways to win. If you remember a couple of weeks ago, or maybe even a month ago, whatever it was, there were some close calls they had where they should have lost football games, somehow pull it out, survive and advance in the regular season. They're at the number four spot in the rankings at 9-0 with, just a couple weeks here left, 3, 4 games left or whatever it is.
Yeah, Jack, I think this is bad news for your ACC truth or take. Not only is Miami that low, but SMU is the next closest ACC team at 13, and then Pitt's all the way down at 18. So I don't know if this committee, barring maybe Auburn winning the Iron Bowl, is going to put two ACC teams into this thing.
They don't need
I
to, Brian. I mean, what do we talk about every year? We talk about champions, and that's what that whole ACC argument was about. That you guys love to keep bringing up. It was champions over the past like decade. That the ACC was more relevant than whoever else we were talking about between Clemson and Florida State. It was just a stat. It was a fact. We don't have to keep on coming back to it. I don't love the ACC to death or anything.
All right, fine. Maybe we can put that take to bed.
We'll keep moving along here. Texas coming at number five. We thought they were the number one team in the land and honestly had them winning it all and not looking like it would be particularly close. Couple weeks unfold, and now they sit at the five spot. And I don't know what cute quarterback they have going forward, but they got to figure that out quickly.
Yeah, I think Ewers seems like he could be the guy, but I don't know how much faith I have in Texas.
They look like the team to beat, and now they look like the team that's beaten, I guess we could call it, because I don't know where they're. I'm not sold on the quarterback play as much as I was in those first couple of weeks of the season.
Well, of course, you were sitting there saying, I mean, you, me, everybody. The reason they were at number one, everyone was sitting there saying Ewers looks like a Heisman contender, and then you've got Archie Manning behind him just in case anything happens. This football team's going to be a-okay through a long run through the playoff. But with both of them looking not so superb as of late, when they finally play some good teams, now we're having questions about both their quarterbacks. And also, I think this might be, we always talk about not having like a quarterback waiting in the wings if you have like a guy there because it's going to mess with the confidence. The fans would be asking for him to come in. Like, do we just think that most of this may have came from the fans and like the media and everybody wanting Archie and Quinn Ewers losing that confidence or something?
It could be. I also think Quinn Ewers just isn't that good.
No, he's been there for a little bit too.
Yeah, and
What
Texas.
did he go to Ohio State first?
Ooh, I don't know. That'd be pretty wild though if they lost him and Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I think he was at Ohio State first. You might have to fact check me.
Yeah, it's
I
just
know. I thought he was at a different school.
like that Texas team was really good last year. Those receivers were really good. Maybe he would just kind of. I mean, he's good enough to not have the system quarterback label, but I think his team last year really propelled his status as an elite quarterback.
Wild stuff right there. The team that most recently lost, I think, Penn State can't get the big one done. James Franklin, the known fraud. Rinse and repeat with this team. They'd be on the outside looking in if it was the top four as it's been for the last 10 years. Expanded to 12, and all is well in Happy Valley. They're still right in a prime spot to make the playoff.
Yeah, I think I can confidently say that that 10-7 matchup, as it would look like right now between Notre Dame and Penn State, is going to happen either in the 8-9 or 7-10, just because they both don't play anybody. So they're going to walk their way into this mediocre first round game and then get blown out by whoever they play next.
Yeah, I could see that happening. Who do you give the edge to in that matchup?
Notre Dame, just because I think Freeman's a better coach than James Franklin.
Yeah, and Franklin, you just have no faith in a prime time, high stakes. Not for all the marbles was this last weekend, but in a game that would be, for survive in advance, lose and go home kind of thing. Yeah, I would lean Notre Dame just because I think they would just get it done. But Brian's other team, he has winning it all, the Tennessee Volunteers, who we thought again were a team that might sneak around the 3 and 4 spot, had a loss, maybe haven't looked as sharp as people expected them to, coming at the 7 spot. Looking pretty comfortable, I think, to also get into this field.
Yeah, I was really worried about them getting like the 10, and they still do have Georgia on the schedule. So that's, I mean, probably a loss. But I think at 7, they'll be able, especially since Georgia's ranked all the way up at 2, they'll be able to hold off and stay in this thing.
I definitely see that. And the teams below them, I don't know, are going to have, maybe a BYU. We'll keep seeing what Indiana does as they march towards the Big Ten title game. And speaking of Indiana, they're right in there after Tennessee, 9-0. Love what their coach is doing. Love the talent they have on the team. Kind of came out of nowhere. Would love to know what their odds to win it all were before the season started. And I'm sure even after a 9-0 start and just basically putting themselves into the playoff discussion, not really having it gifted to them, really worked hard to get into the conversation and force the committee to make a decision. Yeah, you could probably still get great odds on them to win it all. Will they? I don't know, but I love what the coach is doing. I love his attitude, and I love the fight they have.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
expect it.
they're really gonna need to at least cover against Ohio State, whatever that spread is. Just make it look respectable if they can't win. If they get blown out in that game, they only have 2 spots here to play with before you're on the outside looking in. I think they can do it. I like the coach, like you said, Matt, and I like their team. But if they get blown out in that game, don't have much room for error.
That's in Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely got to keep that respectable. Look, the coach will come prepared. I think he will. We all have our opinions on Ryan Day. We'll see what happens. Again, third team. That's Brian's team. BYU at the 9 spot, 8-0. Brian had them sneaking in at the 12. They worked their way all the way up to the 9. Not much room for error with a loss, but again, looking pretty comfortable to work their way into this playoff field.
Yeah, I mentioned the ACC being in trouble with these initial rankings. The Big 12 is in a lot of trouble with these initial rankings. With having BYU at 9, it looks like they're only going to put one. The conference champion is going to get in, and that's going to be all. But I would love to see BYU in there.
Yeah, and it's looking like it right now. We just talked about Notre Dame at the 10 spot. Um, Interesting. Alabama 6-2 at the 11 spot. Seems kind of weird to see them at an 11 spot after the, dominance we've seen over the last 10, 11 years. Obviously, Nick Saban gone, but at least for this roster, not forgotten with his fingerprints all over it.
Jack, you seem mad.
They're not getting in.
I think they will because they won't have to play an SEC championship. So they're going to end with the 2 losses, and it's clear they want them in.
Yeah.
What was this reports we saw? Was it Ryan Williams enter the transfer portal,
That'd be sick because he was thinking about flipping to Auburn before he
or
committed.
was that fake news? I don't know where I saw that report.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to tell with college. A guy takes one visit to another school, and then rumor starts that he might consider transferring. It's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So he has to play the rest of the year with Alabama, though.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no mid-year switches.
No.
Okay, I thought maybe I saw. I don't know why that popped in my head. Maybe I'm just imagining something that never even existed. But yeah, with him playing the rest of the year, I think that helps their chances of staying in that top 12. And speaking of 12, do I say a fourth team of Brian's team? I like Boise State as well. 7-1 on the year. I like Boise over SMU. I like them over A&M. I sure as hell love them over LSU. Think I like them over Ole Miss. Yeah, Boise State has the 12 spot for me.
Yep. These rankings, the one thing glaringly that they told us was if Boise State takes care of business, they will be the 12. Army's all the way down at 25. So it's clear the committee does not have faith in the American as a good conference. But I would love to see if it held right now and Boise State was able to upset Ohio State in that 12-5 game, and Ohio State let Jordan James rush for 115 yards and a touchdown in their loss. Ashton Genty's a little bit better than Jordan James. So if we get Boise State beating Ohio State, it would be Boise State and BYU. That game might have an over-under of like 75.
So a lot of points. But yeah, I mean, first fresh rankings of the college football playoff. They're here. I believe they will be updated weekly until we get to the actual start of these games. Stay tuned for all our reaction. But why don't we jump into some winners and losers here before we finish out with confidence picks and Mike of the Week?
Yep. And as always, winners and losers are presented by our good friends at SeatGeek.
The weather may be getting cold late in the year, but the sports action is heating up. With the final stretch of the football season upon us and basketball season now here, the only place to go for the best tickets for each game is SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the official sponsor of the Views from Section 400 podcast, and whether you're looking to sit courtside of the Sixers game, find a last-minute deal up in Section 400 for the Iron Bowl, or looking to just cheer on your alma mater in a preseason basketball tournament, SeatGeek's one-of-a-kind system helps you find the best deal for the best seats in the house. Use code VIEWSFROM400 at checkout for $20 off your first purchase. Again, that's code VIEWSFROM400 at checkout for $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek, your best night ever is waiting. And now, winners and losers.
Yeah, so the winners and losers of the week. Thanks to our friends at SeatGeek for that quick word. Brian, who won the week? We'll hit Jack, who won the week. I'll hit a winner, and then we'll hit who lost the week.
Yeah, so my winner of the week, it's going to be a couple things. Well, first of all, good teams in the Sun Belt, the Sun Belt Conference in general, and us as March Madness fans. So with all the conference realignment and all of the kind of chaos that goes on in conference tournament season, the Sun Belt thought it would be a good idea to reward the teams that do well in the regular season. They created a new conference tournament. It's 7 days long, 7 games in 7 days. The first day is the 12 versus 13 and 14 versus 11. The second day, those winners play the 9 and the 10 seeds that have byes to the second round. And then it goes so on. So the third day will be the 8 and the 7 seeds getting a bye. The 1 and 2 seeds don't play until the semifinals on the second to last day of the tournament. It's a 7-day long tournament with 2 games each day.
Is that good or bad?
I mean, it's great for just we have more basketball to watch and it rewards the guys that do well in the regular season. But it's terrible for those 14 and 11 that used to have the chaos opportunity. Now they got to win 7 games in 7 days.
I mean, that's where the magic happens, dude. That's where the magic starts. That's where the Cinderella stories are sparked, is by having those runs in that many games in that many days, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting style of basketball tournament. I mean, it's a lot of games. A team that's trying to make a run, as you're saying, Brian, going up against a team, 1 or 2 seed in the semifinals, fresh legs, all that good stuff. You've just come off of 7 games. I don't know. I'm not going to do the math, but that's wild, dude. That's cool though. I give it to them. Innovative little tournament. I like it. Let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like about it is it ends on March 10th. I wish they would have ended it on Selection Sunday or the Saturday before, just so that 14 seed would have then had to play in most likely the first 4 on that Tuesday, just to really just make them play the eighth game in, I guess it would be 10 days.
You're trying to kill these kids. Um, I'm going to go into my winner on account of that. So we were talking about it on the last pod. It's NFL related, trade deadline related. The Lions got their pass rusher, traded for Zadarius Smith. He's been, dare I say, elite as a pass rusher over the past few seasons. He had some work with the Packers and the Vikings, I believe. Yes, and now he's with the Lions, man. So he's staying up in that NFC North. I don't see players do that all too often, but pretty cool stuff. And I'm just excited for the Lions to have a replacement for Hutch, and just bolster up this team that really could go and win a Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, it's a great move.
They made a move to, you have the team. I think I touched on it in the last pod. Put the nail in the coffin, go get your guy, do what you got to do. Your time is now.
Yeah, wasn't a crazy Myles Garrett or anything, but
Yeah.
Zadarius Smith is definitely an elite pass rusher.
For that team as well as a nice addition.
Perfect fit.
The price was
But yeah, it wasn't too bad. But I'll hit winner real quick here before we jump into the sad part of the losers. But I really just, I guess winner of the first 2 weeks of the NBA season, the Cleveland Cavaliers are 8-0. I mean, the hottest team in basketball right now. I don't know the last team that started 8-0. Probably one of those Warrior teams is the first kind of team that comes to mind. They do play tonight at 8 p.m. So I'm sure as we're watching this, they will have already had their first loss because that's just how those kind of things go. But nonetheless, they are 8-0 start the year. I thought that was pretty spectacular out of them, and I wonder what their ceiling is this year, especially losing their head coach.
Yeah, look, the Cavs they finished last year on a very positive note on the run that they made in the East. Look, Donovan Mitchell, like he's a dog. He can lead teams, and they got pieces around him. They've always been a young team, and maybe they come into their own this year. I don't know if their ceiling is championships. I don't know if they have the firepower for that, but I like the Cavs.
Donovan Mitchell deserves a championship after his and my Mets flamed out in the postseason.
Well, they'll definitely make the playoffs, but I think the Celtics are just a little bit better, a little bit more experienced, and a little bit more talented. But maybe an Eastern Conference Finals, maybe another second round matchup. We'll see. But it's definitely in store for both those teams. Definitely not the Sixers, who lost another one the other night, starting the year 1-4, blew like a 10-point lead in the final couple of minutes of the fourth quarter. So Disasterville to start the year. It's always been disaster to end the year. Hopefully, the start of the year is something to tell for the end. Whatever, not getting into it, but a nice start to the losers of the week. As Jack, why don't you kick us off with your loser?
Yeah, well, just to clarify, was that your loser of the week, the Sixers?
No, because they were last week as well. But I do have another loser. I was thinking about it because they did blow that lead. Paul George came back. They lost again. They're like 1-4. It's just look. It's not the end of the world. Long season. Embiid got fined for shoving a media member. Like, there's really a lot going on right now. I think he's suspended 3 games. It wouldn't matter though because they're holding him out anyway. It's a lot going on in the organization. Just Disasterville, like I said.
Unbelievable. All right, well, I'll give you my loser so we don't have to talk about the Sixers anymore. It's going to be the NFC West. It's a very competitive conference right now. The Cardinals are leading it at 5-4. The Rams, the 49ers, they're both 4-4. And then the Seahawks are in last, but very close at 4-5. They're all within a game of each other. But the reason why this conference is the losers, you're going to take out the 49ers real quick, and the rest of them are losers because CMC is back. He's back at practice, and these guys, they needed to make up a little bit more ground before this man comes back to the Niners roster. I know we all know how good the 49ers are with CMC, but just in case you forgot, quote Stat Muse, 22-5 all time with CMC as their starting running back. That's pretty good numbers, man. I think that they are going to start to pull away. And as much as we love the Cardinals, Matt and Brian, you love the Seahawks. This is going to start getting pulled away real quick.
Yeah, I think there was the stat on Sunday Night Football when the Niners were playing that the two times they made it to the NFC Championship, they started 3-3 or 3-4. And both those times they weren't adding a player like Christian McCaffrey. So it just makes you think they're going to do it again. And that's a little bit, I mean, I guess it's not scary for me because the Giants are dead already, but it should scare you a little bit, Matt.
He's going to get hurt again. I mean, that's just what's going to happen.
Are you manifesting right now?
No, they might win this week, but based on history repeats itself. Hurt last time Donald Trump won the election, Eagles won the Super Bowl. Just going on history, just on trends. So are you a little bit worried, Brian? I asked you that question.
As you said, that seems like a Brian stat right there.
That is, I did not know that, and that's a little bit worrisome.
I asked you the question of the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. Because now you're rattled. Try to get me rattled, flip that Uno reverse right on you, brother.
Yeah.
Well, the last time, Matt, you got to think about this, though. The last time that the Eagles won the Super Bowl and Donald Trump got elected president, they also had Doug Peterson as their head coach. So you don't have him now. I don't know if you can get it done.
Nah, we're not going to nitpick it that much.
I don't know if you can do it now.
Brian looks rattled right now, and that's what I'm here for, dude.
I think you both have faith now because the last time Trump won, the Eagles won and Doug Peterson won. So maybe the Jags make a run.
I don't think the Jags make a run.
Hey, now, they might beat the Vikings this week. It's a good Vikings team.
We'll see what happens there. But, Brian, why don't you give us the loser of the week, and then I'll wrap it up.
All right. My loser of the week is going to be somehow not the Mets, but everyone else that plays a professional sport in New York City. On October 28th, New York became the first metro area to lose a game on the same day in baseball, soccer, basketball, and the NFL. The Yankees lost the World Series. The MLS team New York City FC lost in the MLS Cup playoffs. The Knicks lost to the Cavs, and the Giants lost to the Steelers. And then the hockey teams didn't play, but on the next day, the Islanders and the Rangers both lost their games.
Bing bong.
Yeah, tough look for New York there.
Man, pour one out for Spider-Man. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, that's a tough scene there. It's just there's nothing other to say than that's tough, and I'm here for it. I mean, yeah, love it.
It's crazy.
But
looking back on that stat, the New York Mets will not be a part of it.
Nope, they will not. But in classic New York fashion, they still loop in a baseball team. I'll wrap us up here with my loser of the week, and it's more like just like sad thing of the week. But I know we got to call it a loser, and it's gonna be T. Higgins looking like he's gonna miss his third straight game, and it's not because of missing the third straight game. It's because he's in a contract year. He's playing for big, big money to get a huge contract, and he's missing games continuously. I think his value is dropping. Teams are seeing this who might offer him a contract, and it's really just kind of the worst kind of contract year you want to have as an NFL player when you need, only really have one shot to get a huge, huge payday. Value's dropping quick as he's set to miss the third straight game. And, I think that would be 4 or 5 on the season as he missed the first 2.
Yeah, Mike Gesicki is becoming a fantasy asset at tight end because T. Higgins just can't get on the field.
Can't get on the field, and yeah, it's obviously hurting T. Higgins' stock, and Gesicki might be in line for a big contract as he's capitalizing on it.
Yeah, I mean, dude, these guys you got to play on contract years. We all know that, and obviously we always say it, but availability is the best ability. No one wants to pay for a guy that's going to get hurt after 2 games. So I hope T Higgins gets right. Maybe this is him being smart. Look, he's a premier receiver. I know he's been shadowed by Jamar Chase, but he's still up there. Uh, and I think he's going to get a contract regardless. Maybe he's just doing his best to stay healthy and be able to pass the physicals and be healthy for his next team next year if he doesn't get a contract from the Bengals.
Yeah, they're in no position to have him get on the field and force feed him either because he knows, or the Bengals made it very clear they're not going to re-sign him.
Well, yeah, we'll get into the NFL confidence picks.
Yeah, so today's NFL confidence picks are presented by us, specifically the new Views from 400 merch that will be dropping on Black Friday, November 27th. So keep an eye out for that. We'll update you guys on the socials. If you're not following us, it's Views from 400 on Instagram, Twitter, wherever. That's where you're going to get the best news, the most accurate and timely news from us. So keep an eye out for that. We did approve the design, and it's pretty fire. And I hate that
I
I just
love
said
it.
fire to describe it, but it's going to be good.
Lack of vocabulary. It is great work.
You're calling me lack of vocabulary.
I know that was the point. But no, we did a lot. We reviewed it a few times. Jack did a lot of hard work putting it together. We went back and forth on what needs to be added, what needs to be taken away. We did a good job, I think, on brainstorming collectively as a group to put together a final product that I think you guys will all love. So that's coming out soon, and that's what this next segment, the NFL confidence picks, are presented by the Views merch. How exciting!
Yeah, and we got to give a quick shout out to our designer, EZ. She's a great artist and helped us with all the good stuff. We want to ask you guys though, if you guys have any ideas for merch, different types of clothing or whatever it might be that you guys want us to drop or to look at, let us know in the comments. We're always happy to accommodate whatever you guys are looking for. So, this will be good we're try and get it out for Black Friday. It'll be good for the holiday season. Get it for your mom, for your dad. Get them on the Views from Section 400 podcast.
Oh yeah, I love it. But with that being said, we'll jump into the NFL confidence picks. You guys already know how it works. We'll jump over the standings really quick here. Jack out to an early first week lead with 112 points. Brian in second. I don't know if that's close behind or not, but with 90 points, and I come in third with 87. I'd say the field is still wide open, and that's pretty neck and neck. Brian goes 11-4. I went about even at 8-7, and Jack cleaned the board at 14-1. If you tailed Jack on all his picks, probably would have came out with a good bit of money after that first week. But like I said, Jack, 112 points. Brian, 90 points. I'm in there at 87 points. So we will go how Goff goes. Jack, why don't you lead us off with your confidence picks this week?
Yeah, starting off with my most confident at 14 points. Chargers over the Titans, and I got the Eagles over the Cowboys, Chiefs over the Broncos, Bears over the Patriots, 49ers over the Bucks, Bills over the Colts, Giants over the Panthers, Lions over the Texans, Ravens over the Bengals, Rams over the Dolphins. At 4, I got Cardinals over the Jets. 3, I've got Falcons over the Saints, the Jags over the Vikings, my second least confidence pick. And last but not least, the Steelers over the Commanders. But Brian, Matt, before you guys get into it, I want to say to our listeners, from 14 down to 7. So, we'll release this graphic on our socials. You'll see from 14 down to 7, the Chargers over Titans down to the Lions over Texans. I am very confident about those top picks. I put them all on a parlay. It was, I believe, 18 to win like 200, something like that. So Feel free to tell me. I'll let you know how we do. But I'm taking basically the top half of my confidence picks in a nice little parlay this week. I'm following up a 14-1 week. Let's have some confidence, right?
Yeah, the one thing I'm not, and I'm not making fun of you for going 14-1, but favorites also went 13-2 last week. So I'm not going to sit here and call you Mr. Chalk again, but I may imply that Mr. Chalk got out to an early lead because the chalk ended up hitting.
Brian
Look,
just can't let you be up, man.
look, Brian, you want to hate the player, you want to hate the game. Like, I don't care which one, it ain't gonna phase me.
Yeah, but I
I
mean,
think if you can go 14-1, whether it's chalk or not, I think that's nice work. We'll see if it pays off for you this week.
yeah, I like
You
your pick.
know, I definitely have some chalk on here. I don't, or mostly chalk. Yeah, I got the Jags over the Vikings. I'm taking the Steelers over the Commanders. I'm pretty sure they're underdogs. The Cardinals are underdogs to the Jets some way, somehow. That's the big game I want to talk about if we can, real quick. I'm struggling to see how the Cardinals, a 5-4 Cardinals team, is at home and 1.5 point dogs to a Jets team with 2 wins, 3 wins.
3 wins, but this is the same thing we were struggling with last week with the Jets and the Texans.
But the Texans were on a downward slope. They were losing their key offensive weapons. They had looked not that good the week before. I'm trying to remember who they played the week before, but they didn't look all that good. The Cardinals, I can't say that about. I like the way the Cardinals are playing football right now.
Look, this week in general was a tough week, I think, to predict. Obviously, we'll see as the week goes on and what the standings turn out to be. But there's a reason the Jets and Cardinals game is very, very low on my confidence board because I think you're right. It could go either way, and the Cardinals very well could win this game. But I also think the Jets very well could win this game after some momentum at home on Thursday night against the Texans. So it's a total 50-50 for me. It's why we see the line reflecting that. It's low on my confidence board.
Yeah, I have no idea. I could see the Jets going on a run and making the playoffs, or I could see them losing out. The team's so weird.
Well, speaking on going on a run, Bry, why don't you go on a run right here and run through your confidence picks of the week?
Yeah, my top confidence at number 14, I'm taking the Chiefs over the Broncos simply because the Chiefs just don't lose football games. 13 Chargers over Titans, 12 Eagles over Cowboys, even though that hurts my soul to say. 11, I'm taking the Giants over the Panthers to make my soul feel a little better. 10, Niners over the Bucks. 9, the Bears over the Patriots. I hope DJ Moore tries a little harder. 8, Falcons over Saints. 7, Vikings over Jags. Sorry, Jack. 6, Lions over Texans. 5, Bills over Colts. 4, I have the Jets winning over the Cardinals. 3, the Commanders. They're going to try to get that 1 seed in the NFC over the Steelers. 2, Bengals over Ravens for my Super Bowl future. And 1, Rams over Dolphins.
Yeah, I think that Commanders over Steelers pick is strictly a bias pick. But the only reason I'd say I like it is they did make an upgrade this week, grabbing Marshawn Lattimore off the Steelers defense. I think that's a nice upgrade. Brian, you've been ragging on this Commander secondary all year, basically picking receivers props who go against their cornerbacks all year. Make a nice addition to Marshawn Lattimore. I still think Mike Tomlin gets it done.
Yeah, I'm scared that's with the matchup, but the Commanders, they look like a really good football team. And Marshawn Lattimore, when he's healthy and when he's actually playing good football, he's one of the best corners in the league. And that's what they needed. Him and George Pickens might get into like 3 scrap ups in this game too.
Yeah, I can't say enough good things about this move. It definitely helps them, and I feel like they needed someone like Lattimore who's a leader on that defense. So I think that's a great move for them to make. Obviously, I was on the other side saying they needed a receiver, but cornerback help is definitely something they needed as well. I don't know if it makes the big enough difference in this game against the Steelers, where they're just rolling right now, man. They're playing really good football with Russ, and I know the Commanders are too. This is my least confident game. I have it at number 1. So basically a pick 'em for me. I'm going with the Steelers though. Yeah, they've been playing solid football, and I'm gonna trust Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, they are. That's I guess the only one I'd have an issue with on Brian's board. But why don't I run through some and then we can discuss because I also, as Jack does, as my most confident, have the Chargers over the Titans, followed up by Eagles over the Cowboys, and followed up by Chiefs over the Broncos. I then jump into the Niners over the Bucks. We talked about CMC most likely coming back this week. I go into the Bills over the Colts, Giants over the Panthers. As it pained Brian for Eagles, pains me to say that, but the Panthers are dead in the water. Vikings over the Jaguars. Sorry, Jack, but the Vikings need to put on a dominant performance to keep track in the NFC there. Ravens take down the Bengals. I think that's a Thursday night game. Rams over the Dolphins. Everybody keeps saying the Dolphins are due. I don't see it on the road. Bears over the Pats. Again, total toss-up game for me. Pats could easily win. Falcons over the Saints. Yes, I gave the Falcons some credit here. Saints are dead in the water. Jets over the Cardinals for me. I also have Steelers over the Commanders at number 2. And then the number 1, I think the hardest game to pick maybe all year, the Detroit Lions over the Houston Texans. My least confident because the Texans could easily win this game.
Yeah, I don't know what to think of that Lions-Texans game because the Texans look so bad, but they have 6 wins. So D'Amico Ryans just finds ways to win football games.
Right. I think that's why it's my least confident. I like the Lions to win. I'm not going to put a lot of points on the board in case they somehow fluff it. And the Texans are kind of in a spot where they need to win this game.
Can I put this very bluntly? This is my thought process. The Texans, until Nico Collins comes back, are not a team I'm betting on. Stroud hasn't been able to do enough without Nico Collins in the game. Like, I mean, they were relying on Mixon for 100-yard, 2-touchdown games before, and now the box is getting loaded. I'm not trusting this offense. I can't do it.
Yeah, Tank Dell has not taken that step he's needed to.
He has though. Like he's had good weeks. It just hasn't been enough. Right?
It
Like
hasn't
Nico
been
Collins
enough to
has
win
been the
games.
next step. Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's not that he's been horrible. I think he had a nice stat line against the Jets last week. It's just not what Nico Collins has been able to do.
yeah, he's had some big plays, but he's not been the consistently get open. Like CJ Stroud was targeting Nico Collins like half the time.
Yeah.
And with Diggs out for the year, Diggs is out for the year, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so with him out for the year, until Nico Collins comes back off of IR, I'm not trusting this Texans team. And guys, they're playing the Lions, who are playing the best football out of anybody in the NFL right now. I'm very confident that the Lions go into Houston and win this game.
Yeah, they definitely could get the job done. I agree. But yeah, the only other one that I'm hung up on is that Bears and Pats game, right? Like it seems like the Bears should win, but you know how sneaky are the Pats in this one? Like the Bears just got blown out by the Cardinals. They seem dead in the water. Maybe they're losing on purpose to get Eberflus the hell out of town. I mean, quick thoughts on that before we move on.
I think this is the last stand for the Bears if they want to try to make a run. And that's the only reason. They've looked terrible, but that's the only reason I'm taking them.
Maybe you're putting into words what I couldn't, what my mind's telling me, but I am very confident in the Bears this week. I have them as my 4th most confident pick at 11 points. The Pats are obviously dead in the water. There's no question about that. But then on the flip side, the Bears, they're sitting, I believe, at 4-4, right at 500. And they could go on a run and make a wild card spot. We say the AFC is pretty top heavy, but those middle ground teams, like right now, the Broncos have a playoff spot. You're telling me that the Bears aren't better than the Broncos? I think they are. So yeah, this is as you said, Brian. That was a great way to say it. This is their last chance. This is you win this game against the Patriots, and you continue on, or you lose and can't bet on you again.
Yeah, it's also a get right spot for that defense against. I know Drake Mays looked good, but rookie quarterback there.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm starting him in any fantasy league I can this week.
yeah, the last thing I have on these, I am terrified we all pick the Giants over the Panthers.
Brian, there's one thing I gotta say about that is as bad as the Giants are, they're somehow less of a dumpster fire than the New Orleans Saints. And I might even go as far as to say is I think I might rather have Daniel Jones in one singular football game against the Panthers than I would Derek Carr. So I do think you guys win this game.
Yeah, but what if the Panthers somehow win this game? I also have the Giants winning this game, but holy smokes. I mean, Derek Carr, bad quarterback. Daniel Jones, even worse.
That's what I'm saying though. To win you one game, I don't know. And the Giants want to win, right, Brian? Like Daniel Jones wants to win football games.
Yeah, Daniel Jones is playing for his job, probably playing for his NFL
The
security.
fact that that's even still a statement is wild. He is not playing for any job. The guy is done.
Someone will
Maybe
give him
backup,
a team
maybe
will give him
backup.
a chance.
Sure. Give him a chance.
Matt's having none of this Daniel Jones talk.
It's just, it's been too long. It's exhausting. I mean, we know what the guy is.
Yeah, he
It's,
stinks, but someone will give him a chance just because he can
he
run.
might get a shot like the Raiders. Like,
Yeah.
there's teams that have bad situations as well, where I could see him going. But yeah, that's the NFL confidence picks. Are we ready to jump into Mike of the Week, or you guys want to touch on another game? I
Right.
know Auburn basketball's heating up.
Yeah, they are already out to a 21-point lead.
21-point lead early and often.
I got him 17 and a half.
Nice.
Hold that for me. More Eagle.
Or damn.
Yeah, Mike of the Week. Who wants to kick it off first? Brian, Jack. I don't know if you guys are ready. Jack's usually like, 50-50 on if he even has a Mike of the Week.
Yeah, I usually don't, but I came prepared. I won't lie to you guys. I usually don't have a Michael of the Week, but I do have one this time. It's from Jim Harbaugh. He was in like an interview or whatever, and he was talking about, you know, I thought I was the toughest quarterback in the history of the National Football League. Well, I'm not. I met a man named Justin Herbert, and he is the toughest quarterback in the National Football League. And it was just like the most robotic but also sincere like thing ever. I was also sitting there like, did anybody actually think that like these two guys? Does anybody actually think that these two guys are like up there for like two of the most toughest quarterbacks in the National Football League? Like, I'll give Justin Herbert his flowers, but I'm not really too familiar with Harbaugh's game. But the biggest thing about it was just it was the weirdest thing the way he said it. Did either of you guys see that?
I didn't see it.
No, toughest quarterback in the league's Jalen Hurts.
Oh, stop it.
Yep.
I wonder like what makes you say that.
He's just a football guy. Or are you talking about Jalen Hurts, or you're still on Harbaugh?
I'm talking about Matt. What makes
Yeah,
you say
no.
Jalen Hurts?
Tough runner, tough player. Seems to always want to do the right thing, says the right things to the media in the locker room. Always working, always getting better. He's just a tough guy. Plays through injuries, plays through adversity. Philadelphia's, a tough market to play in with the media. The guy shades it aside. They're coming out. They're 6-2 or whatever their record is, and he still will get heat in the media for a little play. So he plays through adversity. It's a tough market to play in. Tough. I know there's big markets everywhere. Philadelphia is very tough. With the own local media can sometimes be the enemy.
So you're talking mentally tough.
Mentally tough and physically tough.
Yeah,
Both are not mutually exclusive.
I have a feeling Harbaugh just only cares about the playing.
Part.
Can we say Tom Brady's the toughest of all time? I mean, look at his mentality coming from, Michigan, not really playing a lot, starting his senior year, seventh round pick, always battling, always getting better, waiting for a shot, striking at the right time. Tom Brady. could be a guy. I don't know how you laugh that off so easily.
I'm not laughing it off.
You sure as hell seems like it.
I'm not giving it to Tom Brady, bro. This dude's got a manicure going. I can't give it to him. Nah, but like I'm gonna give Justin Herbert those flowers before that. I'm gonna give Ben Roethlisberger those flowers before that.
Big Ben was fake tough.
Even Tony Romo, bro, I'll give him those flowers too. Like, come
Big
All right,
on.
Ben
I
was
think
way
we I think we I think we end it there with that one. Jack, do you have a mic of the week for us? Or no, you were the mic of the week first. Bri, you go mic of the week.
Yeah, the Padres tried to
I
sign.
flip-flop between you guys back and forth all show. So, bear with me here.
The Padres agreed to sign a player they thought was 14 years old named Cesar Altagracia from the Dominican Republic. They were going to give him $4 million when he turned 16. Turns out he's 19. He competed in the U12 and U15 Pan American Championships as a 16 and 18-year-old.
How do you mess that up? It just reminds me, what was it? Bench warmers or whatever with the IM12.
I am 12. Yep.
I
Green.
mean, how do you mess that up that badly? Like we're so advanced as a society. Maybe the Dominican isn't as advanced. I'm not sure. But at least in America, MLB professional scouts, we all have all the teams have complexes in the Dominican. I mean, somebody's got to get fired for that.
Yeah, there's always the rumors that they mess up their age by a couple of years. Like Albert Pujols, people believe he was older than he was listed. And the guy the Mets got a deadline, who Huescar Brazabon, says he's 34. He definitely is younger than that. I don't know why he said he was older, but yeah, 5 years is that's pretty egregious.
Yeah, I don't know how you can pass for 5 years younger than how you look, but kudos
I
to
would have
him.
I would have said, give me my 4 million with interest.
I'm 16 now.
Yeah, but I'm like, yo, there's 3 years of not getting that 4 million. I'm 19. I want interest for the 3 years lost.
It's actually a solid way to look at it.
It's not at that point.
Super
I mean, that could be a lot of extra money in the guy's pocket.
Yeah.
If 3 years late on paying the guy. That's what it is.
You signed the contract, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, look, maybe I should be represent this guy on the legal front.
You gotta find out his actual name so you can
Yeah.
represent him.
Yeah, I'll help him out. Just give me a kicker. But I'll go to my Mike of the week, and it was just former professional athletes running in this election. There were a couple former pro athletes. One was a senator in Texas who lost to Ted Cruz, which was pretty funny. I forget the guy's name. It was a former linebacker that played for the Titans. Wasn't that great of a player. But a former MVP, Steve Garvey, ran for United States Senator out of California, which I thought was pretty wild. He did lose the race, as California tends to go pretty blue pretty quick. But yeah, Steve Garvey, former MVP, perennial all-star, tried his luck on the political stage. Didn't lose, but yeah, post-baseball life, thought this guy would just be chilling. No, he's running for office.
Yeah, there was a funny clip that surfaced of Rachel Maddow on MSNBC, and she was going over the race, and she just called him baseball guy. And then like 5 seconds later, the producer got in her ear, and she's like, "I've been told I cannot refer to him as baseball guy."
Yeah, I do remember that. I actually might have seen that clip as well, but yeah, pretty wild, man. Former MVP, perennial all-star, like I said, nuts that he was running for office. He did end up losing, though. And I don't think any of the pro athletes or former pro athletes won any of their races. So short-lived. They got on the ticket. Didn't get beyond that. I did have a quick question that kind of bounces off my mic of the week, and then we can wrap up the show. Which current pro athlete would make a great politician? Any sport, across the board,
Hmm.
any names, quick names come to mind of a current professional athlete on the brand? It's election week. We just had all the stuff. We're a sports podcast. Let's mix them both together. Current pro athlete across the board would make a great politician. My first thing I start to think of is baseball guys and then NFL quarterbacks. Um, and then it kind of stops there. Like, right, like I'm not like, NBA, I don't know that I'm throwing a guy out there. NHL, they're mostly all European and Russian. Not that, obviously they if they're born outside the US can't go for president. Doesn't mean they can't go in a different field, but yeah, I don't know. I just thought it'd be a fun question to maybe brainstorm and you guys can come with an answer, but it seems like I've stumped the both of you.
Well, I guess we can't say Aaron Rodgers because that kind of already he attempted that, I guess. I don't know how much of an attempt it really was.
I don't think it was a really big attempt.
Yeah, I mean, it's in terms of like who I could see try to run for office, I could definitely see LeBron trying to run for office at some point after his career. Uh, Baseball, I can see Bryce Harper winning mayor of Philly one day.
Brian, I hate all of these suggestions right now.
Well, what do you got in your brain there, Mr. Jackie?
Honestly, in my brain, KD.
KD would be funny. He would be
He
funny.
would definitely be funny.
KD would be a good one. Maybe D Hop. No reaction on that one.
I just don't know.
I don't see
Maybe. I mean, you got to think of like good personality, but also who's like speaks somewhat intelligent. That's why I thought, maybe quarterbacks like a Joe Burrow could be a funny one. Um,
Josh Allen would be funny.
Josh Allen.
I don't think Josh Allen would take it seriously enough.
No, he wouldn't take it serious enough. I don't know. I thought we'd get a little bit better response here with this question, but it seems like you guys don't have anything in the wheelhouse to come up with.
Maybe Justin Herbert. Maybe Justin Herbert. I know he's a shy guy, but I think
Like very political-esque, like
From
Russell
everything else.
Wilson seems like a prime political candidate.
Everyone would hate him.
He's a fucking
Yeah.
I didn't say who's going to hate him. I said who would be a great politician. I think he would be a great politician. Now, if people vote for him and hate him, that's a completely different story.
yeah. He's a cheese ball. Maybe Curry. I could see Curry.
Yeah, Curry, I could definitely see actually.
Kirk Cousins.
Oh yeah. Good one.
Definitely see JJ Redick. I mean, coach, but
Yeah, that man seems like he would die for our country. So
All right. Well, obviously, very broad question, loaded question. There's no real right answer. I think that's the show.
I was good. Last thing, we'll bring this back in the summer. We'll have 4 and 400 of sports figures we think would make great politicians.
Yeah, when we bring back the
yeah.
400,
Let's do
we
that.
can add it to the board and add it to the notes. That was a pretty solid show. I appreciate everybody joining and hopping along for us. I got to go make some dinner. Villanova's down 10 with 6 minutes to go. So I got that to deal with for the rest of my night. You guys enjoy Auburn basketball, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Of 25 at half. So hopefully they cover. War Eagle.
War Eagle, baby.